Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
Don't be fooled by the sunny skies we're seeing today. It won't be long before some areas in the valley could see snow. Let's check in with our meteorologist Hutch Johnson for our no-wait weather for the latest. Hutch?
Thank you so much, Katie. Our skies right now showing just a few signs of clouds. It's been another sunny and lovely day, but things are about to change. Here is a look at the timeline that we are anticipating. There's been very little adjustment to the timeline of the impacts of the storm here in the valley. Wednesday looks good for most of us. Most of us stay dry, but we will notice a change. It'll be cooler and we'll see more clouds. Some will see rain, and the storm system will get started in the western Dakotas. By Thursday, we'll see a transitionary period. Our western counties getting snow, eastern counties getting rain, and somewhere in between, we'll have that dreaded rain-snow line. And that'll be very close to Fargo and Grand Forks. Friday and Saturday look to be the heaviest hitting days for us with very strong winds, and some areas will have blizzard-like conditions. Heavy snow to the tune of 6 to 12 inches. Some will see even more than that, while others see just rain. For this evening, though, Katie, it looks beautiful. Temperatures will slip through the 60s, and by bedtime, we'll be slipping into the 50s. With an increase in clouds overnight, some will see morning showers. We'll have your hour-by-hour forecast. I will detail this storm, including having some updated snowfall potential maps for you to look at. We're gaining confidence in the area that could be impacted the most by the snow, and we'll have that in a moment.
All right, thanks, Hutch. The best way to track weather this winter is with the Valley News Live Storm Team weather app. It features an interactive radar and alerts on the go, so you're never surprised when inconvenient weather hits. Just search VNL Weather in your app store and download it for free. And while you're probably wishing this week's forecast away, you're not the only one. Wet weather in September stopped most farmers in the valley from getting crops out of the fields. Now, the snow is pushing farmers back even further and could affect the quality of crops. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley talked with experts and farmers today, who says this is one of the worst farming years they've seen in years.
It's the calm before the storm, and farmers are taking full advantage, hoping to get as much of the crop off before Mother Nature adds more unneeded rain and snow.
And if it tracks the way it appears, the North Dakota farmers will probably have a much tougher next week than the Minnesota ones.
Richardson says the biggest problem with this year's harvest is the amount of moisture September brought.
There's some parts of the state that got more rain in September than they average during an entire summer.
Richardson says the valley did get hit with a snowstorm around this same time last year, saying most farmers were able to salvage their crops, and added for the most part he thinks that still rings true for this storm as well.
But the areas that get the more significant snow, like last year in early October, there's going to be some crop damage.
But Richardson added just because some farmers will be able to save most of their crops doesn't mean their yields won't take a hit.
So there's really a lot of things that's really going to make this a very tough stretch, obviously.
Richardson added this storm will set farmers back a minimum of 5 days. Days most farmers tell me they can't afford to give up.
The longer it sits out there, the worse it can get, obviously.
In Fargo, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
Richardson says farmers likely won't know the true damage from the storm until at least Monday or Tuesday. One man is now in jail accused of shooting and passing cars in Grand Forks. 27-year-old Richard Richardson is in jail for reckless endangerment. Police allege he shot several times at a car that was driving near the Cenex station in the 2000 block of South Washington yesterday afternoon. They say Richardson knew one of the people in the car and that the shooting was part of an earlier incident. No one was hurt, but police want to hear from anyone with information or who has damage from the shooting. A Grand Forks man pled guilty to trying to kill a woman by slashing her throat. Officials say Akmal Azizov of Grand Forks told police he believed the woman was a witch. Police say the incident took place on September 5th after several failed attempts. Court records say Azizov confronted the woman at her apartment building where he smashed her windows and then attempted to slash her throat with a pocket knife. Witnesses intervened to help the woman escape. Sentencing is scheduled for November 12th. A Ramsey County man is now facing a felony charge of gross sexual imposition. According to court documents, Paul Kavanaugh engaged in a sexual act with a victim less than 15 years old. Court records also show that Kavanaugh admitted to engaging in sexual acts with a 14-year-old in August. Jamestown police is asking for your help in finding a missing person. 20-year-old Archie Covington MacArthur IV was reported as missing by his family members. MacArthur is an African-American male who stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighs about 290 pounds, with brown eyes and black hair. Family members say they have not heard from him in over a month. He recently lived in Jamestown, but he also has ties to Fargo and to the Las Vegas, Nevada area. If you have information regarding MacArthur's whereabouts, contact the Jamestown Police Department at 701-251-1000. Police in Fargo are asking for the public's help in locating a missing teen. 15-year-old Javante Malik Logan has not been seen since October 3rd. He was last seen at school wearing gray Nike sweatpants and a dark green Columbia jacket. He is 5 feet 8 inches tall and wears his hair in short dreads. If you have any information on Logan's whereabouts, call dispatch at 701-451-7660. Governor Doug Burgum and EPA Administrator Andrew Wheeler signed an agreement today at Bismarck State College for states and the federal government to work together during oil exploration for a safe environment. The government chairs the Interstate Oil and Gas Compact Commission. The signing of this agreement is largely ceremonial, but the governor says the compact supports an understanding of states' rights.
Let's just talk again about how important the diversion is to the state of North Dakota. As the administrator said, we've got over 170,000 people there. By the time this thing is done and completed, it's easily going to be over 200,000 folks that are there. The fastest growing school district in the state of North Dakota.
Officials say Governor Burgum stressed collaboration is key for clean air and water. Former President Jimmy Carter was on Andrea Mitchell Reports today, where he spoke about the impeachment inquiry against President Donald Trump. President Carter said he is a Democrat, so he feels pretty much like the Democratic Party does.
I think that's one of the main things that Americans are now considering, is the fact that the White House is trying to stonewall and not provide adequate information on which to base a good case to be made either for or against President Trump.
President Carter also spoke about if he thinks the current candidates running for president are too old for the job, saying if he were already 80 and just going into the White House, he doesn't think he would, quote, have a flexible enough mind and attitude to deal with the multiple of issues that the president has to confront. Minnesota's U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar says there is a critical need for more election security across the nation because of cyber warfare. On Tuesday, she was at Golden Valley City Hall with Minnesota Secretary of State Steve Simon. Senator Klobuchar is the ranking member of the Senate Rules Committee, which has jurisdiction over federal elections. She's pushing for more resources for states' election security through backup paper ballots.
So our big problem right now is that we have 40 states that rely on electronic voting systems that are at least 10 years old. And in 2020, 8 states will have no or only partial paper ballots. And that is really a concern. Minnesota is not one of them.
Senator Klobuchar is a Democratic presidential candidate. On Monday, she said she raised just under $5 million in the third quarter for her campaign. That puts her in the middle of the field for fundraising. A nationwide data breach is now impacting at least 12 school districts in northwestern Minnesota. The area special education cooperation says districts in East Grand Forks, Fosston, and Edinburgh, among others, are impacted. About 2,000 students were impacted by the breach. The information taken includes the student's first and last name, and in some cases, student ID numbers. This national breach also impacted students in Fargo, West Fargo, and Moorhead. For more information on the other districts in the area affected, go to our website, valleynewslive.com, and click on this story. Some new options are coming to the ACT test. Beginning in September 2020, ACT will introduce individual section retesting, online testing on national test dates, and super score calculations. The 3 new options will enable students to improve their test-taking experience and increase their chances for getting into college and available scholarships. The changes are based on feedback from students, parents, counselors, and other school administrators. The content and format of the ACT will not change, only how the tests are administered and reported will be different. Don't forget the Bison kickoff at 1 p.m. on Saturday, which means you can join us at noon for the Farmers Union Insurance Bison football pregame show. We'll take you right up to kickoff, which you can all watch on KVLY, KFYR Bison Football Network.